want a nap.
You know why that is, Scott? You know why that is? Because you don't get enough sleep.
Brittany made me watch Endgame last night. But the PS4 came in, and I was going to I went to go hook it up and to start uploading what's it called? The trilogy, Mass Effect trilogy into it. So it was like, pop in the data disk to be able to play the game. I was like, okay, cool, no problem. I pop in the data disk. I've had a console before, not a big deal. I'm like, I'm gonna go take a piss, go check this out, go get what I need. So I come back like 5 minutes later, figuring it's done. It's like 5% done. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, wait, you mean consoles got worse over the years? You used to just put in a disc and play the friggin' game. Now you put in a disc and you wait 6 hours? Oh my God. It was the worst.
That, but with Australian internet. Day one updates. I would literally, Halo 5 came out.
Wait, hold on. All I did was put in the data disk to have it upload. You mean I should also now start the game and see if there's more downloads that need to happen?
You should, as long as it's connected to the internet, it should auto update.
Okay.
You need to start it. But
I don't know why you update by the internet, Tesh.
Pardon?
No, when I was on holiday and I needed an update, I just ordered the most recent updated version on disc, and within a few hours, I can see my little kangaroo on his way in his pouch. I reach in, I take my disc out, and not only is it beautiful, fast, and safe, it cleans your disc beautifully.
Anyway, when Halo 5 came out, I literally I woke up insanely early, drove to pick up my copy of Halo 5, drove home, put it in, started the update, went to work, and then came home and it still wasn't done.
That sucks.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I watched. I didn't check afterwards because at that point in time, I was like, Brittany, it's late. I have to get up early. I need to go die now. So we watched, like I said, we watched Endgame because she just really wanted to watch more people die. Because I don't know. The other day we were like, hey,
Speaking of people dying,
okay,
can we talk about the fact that Viking Magoo said that wombats will go for your throat? I'm not even sure whether he was joking or not because it's Australian wildlife. You're like, look at that cute little, oh my God!
So wombats are more likely to total the fuck out of your car with their ass. Their butts are like rock solid to the point where they use them to defend their holes by literally parking their ass in the top of the hole, and now they're safe.
Well, anyways,
they will total the fuck out of your car.
I have never actually owned a proper PlayStation. I had a hand-me-down of a PS2 once from Mike a long time ago and barely used it. I played like maybe 5 games. And then I've not had a single one since the 360. So this is new to me. So I'm like, this is obnoxious and something I need to be mindful of moving forward. But that's fine.
The golden era was like PS1 and probably before, for those of you who are older, to like PS2 and Xbox 360.
Yeah.
And then it becomes really convoluted because they realize actually PC has all these extra features like patches, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
So PlayStation also requires you to literally install the game from the disc fully onto the console.
Yep.
Pardon me, to play it anyway. Which at one point this makes me go, well, why the disc then?
Yeah, why the disc? Exactly. I can just download it, but maybe in case people have Australian internet. So I don't know.
It's literally to keep the physical market and the used game trade alive, pretty much.
Yeah, I imagine, because again, you want to make yourself different from PC. So I'm just sitting there like, grrr. Anyways, it's a learning curve. That's all. So
anyway, I believe you were about to breach. So
I have one just for. I have one just for what's it called? Some devices I have, it's just easier because it comes with a disk install drive. But anyways, back to the game. I'm definitely going to have to get used to having a console because again, years. But so the game, you were she turned to you and said, "What was it?" And that's why we have you here to protect us. And Jake, I don't know if you responded to that.
I don't know. No.
Okay.
You heard me, right?
You said, what? Something along those lines.
I said no. I said, I guess no.
Okay. Well, I don't remember what the response was. My
Neither
daughter
do
came in
I.
the room.
So we'll go with no.
Okay.
Didn't
Cool.
respond.
Sorry, daughter came in. My brain, you know.
My brain's in the same spot. I don't
Yep.
remember.
Yep. So anyways, you go to so she says that to you, and you're kind of like, yay. And then she says, your message will be delivered about this place being Avalonian. I'm not sure if it was noted in the past, but we will make sure we note it in the future. And make sure that you have your men prepared for the breach. We don't want to see you in the hospital wing again.
We will not be part of the breach. We will guard the top.
She looks at you with narrowed eyes and says, you will be there to defend the dig site, as the dig site needs.
Don't say anything.
Okay. And she then says, you're welcome to stay around and watch further, or you can go about your own way. And she'll turn and walk away from you.
As the dig site needs. That's such a, I'm going to tell you to do something because the dig site needs it.
Yeah, well, she ain't the warden either, so... You know.
Oh yeah, she's preparing for the argument of like whose orders trump the others. That's what she's
We
doing.
are to
She's
prepare
trying
the
to lay
dig. We are not ordered to breach, and you know
exactly.
do the
Yeah.
rest.
Okay. So you
It's entirely up to us if we go down, which at the moment
Yeah.
is probably a no.
So you guys I don't know if you do anything else out here, or you literally wait till they wake up like later on this day.
Yeah, we
They
just
get
skip
up.
forward.
Sure, no problem. So in theory, because there's probably not going to be a breach today, if there's nothing else your characters wanted to do, I'd even allow you to have one more overnight rest with long-term care, which means you get to heal double your HD one last time. So 6 more health points one last time before you actually have to worry about anything else. Because now you're kind of getting yourself to the following morning. You've been at the gate. You got there one day. This is day 2. You're waking up day 3. Because you got there later on day 1, so you're waking up morning of day 3, so kind of
Do
early.
we get an extra 6 off what we got previously, all those other ones?
Correct. So I think you were at 18, so I think you got a 24, Neil.
Thank you.
Correct.
I will take a 17. Would I also be able to have somewhere where I can go for privacy to reapply my suit? And I would deliberately take longer than I actually need, like make it seem like I'm taking time to apply something.
Yeah, he just says, I'm going to go get dressed. And he goes in there and actually drops a deuce and then gets dressed. And he comes out and it's like, that was an appropriate amount of time. So anyways, yeah, no, it's easy. Of course, there's places where you can have, great privacy.
So he would deliberately take more time to apply the suit so it doesn't seem like it was a quick action.
So yep, you kind of switch it over or whatever, and able to come out no problem. So all of you guys are healed up a good bit. Everybody has all of their powers reset. Again, this is literally 2 days later since when you got into that fight, and you're feeling considerably better. But as a battle tactician or whatever they are that happens to be here, lieutenant tactician that happens to be here, they are kind of sign you off, so you all have the permission to leave. Now that you guys really needed that anyways, they sign you off, so you have the permission to leave, and you guys can kind of like go out to check out the dig site. And I imagine it's around now that maybe that you don't have prying ears or whatever around, as you guys are doing a walkabout on the outside. You can have a conversation about the like what's kind of going on, in case Jake, you want to fill them in.
Yeah, sure. Getting out and kind of having them out of the infirmary and being able to talk away from people. Viggo would just address them both and he'd say, they're nearly done with the dig. They're preparing to breach. The lieutenant has asked if we'll be part of it. However, our orders are to guard the dig. If there is anything that goes awry and spills out, it will be our responsibility to be there. However, the warden also said that we will be going home. He said in a matter of days. So once they fully excavate, we could even be gone by the time they breach. Probably not. However, this is the information we have at the moment.
Understood.
If nobody else has anything to add, you guys are able to go down by the bay where the watermelons grow. Back to my home I dare not go, for if I do, my mother would say. You see the warden down there watching the dig site. You can see that the amount of work that they do, because they do this around the clock, they've really pulled back that like 20-foot drop back a good 2/3 the way, all the way the distance from where it is cutting in here to the other side over there. And you can see that the warden is there, and that the lieutenant is here too. Lieutenant is also similarly kind of like dressed up, but they seem like they you actually saw them approach the warden as you guys come within view, and they seem like they must have walked not from the direction that you did, from a different direction to come over to the warden. Similarly, kind of like covered in muck and whatnot of being out here for a while. There's a light rain going on right now, which is making the entire dig site very kind of a bit dangerous or whatever, because like that light rain is definitely going to make everything really slick. You have to guard against like landslides and whatnot that are happening, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So as you guys are approaching towards it, kind of like they finished their conversation. Do you go speak to the warden again? Do you just go investigate the site? What are you boys doing?
I'd say we'd have a look at the site and see how it's progressing, and then talk to the warden.
So if you guys just like avoid that star and literally walk up to the site to go check it out, anybody with knowledge of engineering is welcome to roll that. Otherwise, you don't need a perception check. You'll be able to notice other things easily.
You know, why did I even check that if I have knowledge engineering?
Because the problem with being an idiot is that you don't know you are one.
Wow. That's deep, Scott.
Yeah. About as deep as Jill's knowledge of. Anyways, so you guys.
Probably entirely useless. Virgil is making this campaign.
It's still early on. It's still early on.
I know. Luckily, he unlike a lot of stuff, he grows pretty consistently with us. So
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
You know what you should do so you can track when you have that on is you could actually turn on Hear My Voice, but then use the actual your mixer to turn down. No, you're fine. Turn on the mixer to turn down your audio to yourself, so you only hear it as like background, and it's not like something that's going to distract you because it's so loud.
I could try, but usually that very much does distract me.
That's why you want to drop it down so it's barely a whisper, so it's not really. You get used to it. I don't use it personally.
I'll see if I can set that up for next time.
Some headphone software will let you feed back your own voice to yourself just quietly.
Yeah, I mean, I can plug into my Focusrite and get it directly from there, but honestly, I'm not a big fan of hearing it. Something I used to do back when I had my Blue Yeti. When I had to switch away from doing that, it was jarring. It was very difficult when I broke the first one.
You know, desks have got holes for cables. We drilled some in mine, but there's a hole for a cable on this desk here, and there's no cables in it right now. So I just walked up to it, discovered it, and her response, she just drove her entire arm into it. She just went, whoop.
She's looking for mice.
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
All right, back to game. For Anno, blat. So back to game. You guys are walk over towards it, and again, nobody gets an engineering check. One of the things that you notice is that it seems as though they finished designing structurally the safeguards of this whole area. The area where the breach actually is going to take place is completely done, with good bits of like wood set up there, and kind of like not only will they have like wooden planks or whatever to kind of like hold up certain areas, and other parts to kind of like drive it in to like give it its pressure. You can see that whole bit right there is set, and they've even started to, they must have some sort of quarry, or they've been quarrying in stone or whatever it is that they're doing it, because you see that they've already started to lay brickwork and whatnot inside there to make sure that bottom area is going to be actually secured and is not going to easily slip. They're trying to do this utilizing the rain with whatever material they're using as their mortar to start breaking this up and getting it going. And there's a good number of people down there working on it. So they actually have this whole area down here is seemingly done. They're getting ready to get that done on this side. And you also see that there's somebody else that's down there that's looking up at the wall and having a conversation with somebody else. So you imagine that these are probably the people that are going to be handling the actual breaching itself. Funny enough, overhead you see on the actual, what's it called? The walls of Magadan, they have like little structures. What are they called? It's like wooden structures going out there. It almost looks like, remember how I was talking about the rudimentary cranes beforehand? It almost looks like they're designing 2 rudimentary cranes, one around the either side of where this this place is going to be. They're in the middle of constructing it up there, and the whole while they're pushing back that bottom layer of the river is being pushed back further and further and further, constantly bucketing up more and more and more dirt as they do so. There's a good number of people out here training, kind of going off. You do see at one point in time another lower level officer, like much lower ranking officer, does come rushing over to Lieutenant, like exasperated, rushes over to Lieutenant to explain something to them, borderline out of breath. I don't know if your characters go to walk over at this point or not, but they're definitely explaining something to the two of them.
Oh, I would walk over.
Okay.
We'll follow his lead then.
Yep.
Yep. And so you guys walk over. You can make a perception check to hear the end of the conversation.
Oop. Oh.
Well, you had 2 really good checks. So Tristan doesn't hear anything. He's a bit distracted. You know what I mean? Rain is pretty. So
Distracted. He just doesn't care
fair enough.
about what all
Distracted.
these pathetic sub people are doing.
So what you hear, the last line that you hear is the last, actually technically 2 lines that you hear is the warden says, "Let the swamp have him." And when the like lower ranking officer looks a bit perplexed, the lieutenant says, "You have your orders," and they, give the appropriate salute, and they turn and they walk off much more slowly than they ran over. Like they walk off like with brisk, but much more slowly than they ran over. Go ahead.
Wow, it's such a great prison. No, I wouldn't be saying this. Such a great prison person. They escaped. Fuck it. They'll die.
So anyways, go ahead. What do you say is your approach?
Yeah, we'd approach them. Depends if they give their attention or not.
Okay, so as you approach them, they of course notice your approach. He turns to the lieutenant and says, "Is there anything else?" And she says, "No, I will just be needing to start siphon more and more from this side. And by that I do mean appropriate guard as well." And she looks up over to the 3 of you as you approach and says, "Perhaps you can utilize them, allowing you to free up some more for me to utilize as to avoid the scenario in the future." And he thinks for a few moments and then turns to you and says, "What say you? Shall the river guard do their part and guarding the prisoners along the river?"
So not down in the dig.
Oh, that's funny. Because of what the word... Because isn't that supposed to be one word anyways?
No,
I don't think that's how it's spelled, is it?
I thought it was 2. I mean, I'm not certain, but
I have no idea.
I can
It
understand
is 2 words.
not allowing it.
Maybe I did allow it in because obviously I know the connotation, but maybe put a hyphen. Yeah, it is 2. I just looked it up. You spelled it exactly correctly. But maybe a hyphen to avoid that in the future. That way I don't have to allow such things. Luckily, every hour or every stream, it auto triggers. You want to allow this again, But anyways, I'm sorry. Back to you guys.
He's saying along the river, not down in the dig, right?
Yeah, he's saying along the river, not down to the day. Correct.
Viggo would say, I think we'd be of better use here. and me specifically of better use to you with did the lieutenant tell you my message?
Oh, this is the lieutenant, I think. The warden, I think, is.
The
Well,
warden's there as well.
your warden's there as well, and the lieutenant is standing there too.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
nods.
they're both there. My bad.
He nods. He says, "Avalonian."
Yes, sir. Are you aware that this is an Avalonian structure?
Had suspicions.
I see. So when the dig is finished and our job is fulfilled, may I suggest a course of action?
He turns to the lieutenant and says, take 7. I'll see to it that there is no more problems moving forward. And if they do return, why don't we see to it that they spend some time in the hole to contemplate their decisions? And she nods and says, if. And then turns and walks off. Turns back to you. You had a suggestion?
Yes, sir. Before you do breach, it is my opinion that maybe you should have a safeguard in place. If anything were to be still among the ruins down below, something maybe up top to drop and block the breach, the exit, to seal if there is anything to seal them back in.
What you're suggesting would be something that could potentially drop by accident on top of those that are down there digging or breaching. And that is a danger I'd rather not take the chance of. Considering ropes here are slick and structures only hold as long as weather permits.
Yes, sir. You know this place better than I do. This is also, being Avalonian, this could be of great interest to many in Paradel. You are at an important site at an important time, if this is true.
He just says nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the impression he knows.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I'm just kind of making it clear that, I know, like, I got it off him. Like, he wants to get out of here. He doesn't want to be here. And the information that I'm providing also, might help him there.
Yep.
So I'm just trying to be helpful and also let it be known that he knows that we're nearly done here.
Mm-hmm.
And I have reports to write, so I'll be sure to mention what's going on.
He'll say the lieutenant is overseeing the beginning of the dig on the other side. They are starting to dig down along the wall for where will be the exit. But obviously, we're not going to be investing all of our attentions in that direction until we have this side breached and everything seen to. I imagine tomorrow, if not tomorrow or the day after, we'll have enough brick laid that we can breach through the wall without being concerned of collapsing this thing in on itself. So I do suggest that you find time to rest and relax. Of course, that is outside of your guard duties. To which I gave 7 guards. I suggest you go and speak to one of my officers to see where you can be of use. Let's make sure no more prisoners get away. They are here to serve time for their crimes against society, not to feed the local fauna.
Yes, sir.
And so you will turn to kind of, I guess, go and guard, if you will.
Yeah. He will turn back and say, "Oh, and sir, I have taken the opportunity to write up a full report on the best use of the honeysuckle for the scrags.
I'm
For your eyes only.
I'm genuinely interested in that. I will take it from you when we're in a better setting.
Yes, sir.
And at this point, because of how miserably hot it is out here, the fact that you have to wear that like kind of protective garb. Wait, is anybody here wearing protective garb? The mosquito
not
protections.
Inside the walls.
You're outside the walls. You're guarding out here, guarding along the river.
I'll be
Or
wearing
I should
my
say the canal that they're
sturgeon,
digging. The soon-to-be extension of the river. I'm sorry, you said you were or weren't, Tesh?
I am, because it doesn't do too much to me, and I can always take it off if needed.
I love the idea of like a crystalline man inside of a hazmat suit.
Yeah, it's gonna. I imagine it looks kind of strange because unlike his other armor, like this is put on over the crystal, whereas the crystal normally like absorbs and replaces his normal armor.
It's so funny because I almost imagine it's like when you see Deadpool wearing an outfit on top of it.
Exactly that.
So funny.
I love it.
Anyways, Jake and Neil.
Tristan's wearing plate.
So he doesn't wear the additional thing on top. Okay.
No.
Hey, Jake.
I'll wear it. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. So the two of you, this is Tesh and Jake. You guys have to roll fortitude saves against potential exhaustion. You're all gonna get fatigued no matter what from this. It's too many hours, too hard of work, too hot, too miserable. You all get fatigued, but you can sleep off. The question is whether or not you're gonna have to suffer through exhaustion from this day that you're gonna have to deal with fatigue tomorrow. And definitely, you are perfectly fine, Gallon.
Oh no.
Viggo is not somebody who's meant for this miserable weather, unless he has some trick up his sleeve.
I don't, but we have luck, and maybe I just needed a 10.
Try it?
I don't know, but I'll try it.
Sure.
I say
still
try.
give it a
See if
go.
you can get to 10. Yeah.
Yeah. What oh, do I have to enable the thing?
Yeah, you have to
just enable the little bar and it's there. First luck of the campaign, and it's slap bang in the middle.
Yep. Which is exactly where you need it to be. It's a 10. It wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't meant to be anything too difficult. Yep. So you actually succeeded as well. You don't have to deal with fatigue tomorrow. However, for the person that chose not to have additional protections against the mosquitoes, you're going to have to make me, for a different reason, a fortitude save. Don't worry about it.
Oh no.
Wait, that's not compounded in my 24.
No, it's not.
I can guarantee if I'd rolled poorly, Scar would have combined the two.
You can guarantee that? Certifiable. Are you happy with your 15?
Yeah.
Okay. 15 is pretty solid. This is just against whatever diseases that the mosquitoes might be carrying with them. The two of them didn't have to roll because they were wearing their netting. So anyways, you guys spend the day out there, and while it's miserable, you're itchy as hell, you're absolutely filthy, you feel grimy. It's not exactly like baths are easy to come by. The easiest way to get properly cleaned, if you will, is to literally go and take and this is something that is told to you by the because you kind of made friends with the officer inside the medical ward, because you guys are the only ones inside the medical ward. Get to that in a minute. They actually say, hey, listen, usually if you check about and make sure that none of the higher ups are in the area, or maybe in the middle of the night when usually everybody's sleeping, you can actually slip out of the medical ward, pop into the little canal that's out there. That water is pretty clean. There's usually not much inside, a leech or two, but nothing too concerning. You can actually get a good little rinse off. It makes the night so much more survivable.
No.
No.
He'd just be like, no, we're visitors here. I wouldn't want to do anything we're not supposed to.
Oh.
No! He spoke for you. Oh, that sucks.
Alan wouldn't want to anyway, but that's poor Tristan's like, no, but swim. Please swim.
That poor Tristan was like, it's like that scenario where like you go out to eat with your family, like teenager going out to eat with the family, and the server is like, oh, did you want to start with an appetizer? And your parent is like, no, we're good. And you're like,
no, but
nachos.
Yeah.
So that's my dad literally like loathes the concept of dessert, and so whenever they're like, "Would you be interested in dessert?" He would just like, "No." It's like, okay.
What do you mean by loathes the concept of dessert? That's baffling.
He doesn't. He never has dessert, and he doesn't like having it. And so, whenever
Really?
we ate out as a family, he would just say no to dessert.
See, we usually say no to where we are. Okay.
No, I said, and what he says goes. So
Yeah. So we
he's
usually
a
say,
dentist, so that probably swayed things.
oh yes, very heavily. Yes, that would definitely. No, well, we if we have dessert, usually we'll go to like a different, like a local place and get ice cream. So, give yourself time to digest, because that way you can like make the why. Because if you make the decision while you're sitting there at the table, it's like you're on like the hype or the high of being out to eat. But if you like leave, then you might build up the mental fortitude to say no. So anyways, you go to the next day, which is the day of the breach. You guys again.
So did we sleep at night?
You did sleep at night. Sorry. So I wanted to mention something else too. Your characters can actually gather some information while they're out there, kind of talking to the other guards, talking to prisoners, so on and so forth. It's up to you as if you're going to be either introvert, normal, or extrovert. I imagine Tesh is going to be an introvert.
Yeah, very much so.
So because the way gather information works, you're going to roll a diplomacy check with a -4.
Fair enough.
Viggo, you seem like you're more of an introvert or normal, but it's up to you.
No, he's good.
Okay. So
and to note, like once they're done with guard duty, he would do the same thing of find a location, act like he's taking off his armor.
That's fine.
Suit and everything. So yeah, he wouldn't be in suit for this, but yeah.
I'm sorry, Jake. What were you saying?
Oh, like he's not going to, try and find out information. He might strike up a conversation about the people that went, missing.
Yeah, but that's part of it, right? As well as maybe just overhearing things. So we'll do introvert, roll diplomacy with a -4, and Neil. Same with Tristan. He actually seems kind of like an extrovert, like he would just chat people up. But it's up to you.
That's
Tristan chat with the other soldiers.
Apply.
Absolutely. So you can actually go ahead and roll me diplomacy with a +2, because these people never get to hear, never get to talk to outsiders usually.
Nice.
They're probably still too intimidated to talk to Galen, who was a crystal man the other day.
Not necessarily.
That's not with my +2. So that's a 15. Yeah.
Does anybody want to look at any of those? Or you're good.
I'm good. Where are we sleeping at the moment?
The medical.
Are we still getting long-term care then?
You already did that last. No, they're not seeing after. You just got the double. Oh, wait. You got the double. You got the double because you got long-term care for the regular overnight or whatever. So yeah, you're. I'm taking care of all that. I'm factoring all that in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand.
So this night, are we going to get another long-term care for healing?
Which would be again 8-hour sleep as opposed to 24-hour sleep. So it's going to be another 2 times. Yeah, but we'll get to this first.
Perfect.
So, anyways, what you guys end up doing is, hi Joey. What you guys end up doing is you kind of going around talking to people, so on and so forth. Specifically, what Viggo would be interested in is the people that got away. Apparently, there's 3 older prisoners that have been here for, we're talking years. Like they must have been plotting their escape for, potentially decades. They've been here for many years, as far as longer than any of these guards have been here, at the very least. And the longest guard that's been here has been here for 7 years. Are the ones that you spoke to. They actually informed me that the 3 of them happened to escape overnight. They're older. So, they're not exactly going to be in the great physical shape, so on and so forth. And they literally, if you think about where the gate is, to head out, the easiest way to head out is along the river, right? And to head along the river, you're going to have to head, southwest from the gate. But instead, they headed northeast, like almost like going deeper in. Maybe they got turned around. Maybe they didn't know, whatever the case may be. They headed northeast and went deeper in. So it's one of those things where it's like, occasionally you get one that breaks loose. But, when it happens, 1 of 2 things happen. A part of their bodies wash up, or they come crawling back. Just the way it goes. You don't exactly get out of the gate and flourish.
I'm spelling that wrong. Hello.
Hello. I mean, I don't know why we're always so violent against the Australians, but you know, a couple of dead Aussies here and there.
I got it right the first time. Never mind.
Hola, senor. All right, continuing.
So I was just trying to get the map up so I could see where we are again. I want to visualize it properly. There we are. Oh.
So go ahead. Jake, anything you want to add to that, or are you good?
I mean, you told me.
Perfect. Cool.
Yeah.
So then the other one would be Neil with your 15 total. So Neil, we were able to kind of get from them is that the people that are here, as you expected, most of the workers here are actually prisoners from inside of the gate itself. But some of the other workers are actually brought in from elsewhere throughout Paradel to have this job to kind of like oversee it. So these are going to be like almost like the contractors, like the people that are doing the planning phases, so on and so forth, which means that wherever they were before, they've gotten stationed here. Those people are the most talkative because they're the ones that are most recently brought here. They absolutely hate it. They hate it so much. And they're the ones that are going to tell you, thank you, sweetheart, very much. Look at this. And a whole pot of coffee.
Oh, god damn.
That's love right there. That's a whole jug of love. A whole jug of love.
Hello,
It's always,
Aussies.
it also makes me laugh whenever she makes me avocado toast. It just tickles me. Because it was a meme for so long in my house before it became an actual meal. We always eat avocado, but anyways. So moving on. They're the ones that tell you, they'll be like, you realize everybody hates it here. Everybody hates it. There's literally only one person that I think actually enjoys being here. That's the Lieutenant Commander. She's a psychopath. Other than that, everybody hates it. It's like you get relegated here for doing something wrong. Like, the fact that I got sent here makes me wonder what the hell I've done to piss off my commanding officers. You know, it's like that's the kind of conversation that you are getting from these people. You know what I mean? And so that they actually will turn to you and be like, "So, what you do wrong?"
Well, that's probably why I'm leaving in a couple days. Nothing yet.
They give you a set.
What's up with this lieutenant commander then?
So before you say that part, leaving a couple of days, nothing yet. In that break, they give you kind of like a sympathetic face, and they say, "Oh, yeah." Much like how sometimes when a prison sentence is extended over time due to actions there, you might get stationed here for a month, but that month very quickly feels like 36 months and on.
Well, I suppose, unlike you, my skills are better used in a field of battle rather than a muddy hole.
She looks, kind of like, nods like, yeah. You know what I miss the most, honestly? I miss avocados. They don't, you can't get them here.
Confirmed. Avocados exist in Aurorum.
There's a lot of things that you can't get here, it seems. Including a bath.
Well, there's a trick that I was told. One time I injured my arm pretty bad, and I was speaking to the medical person, and they were actually giving me a suggestion to.
Yeah. He said it was a secret. Doesn't seem particularly well kept. But I tell you what, speaking of secrets, this LC of yours, I can't believe that she likes being here.
I don't know. She seems to enjoy it. She seems to genuinely enjoy her work.
How the hell can you tell what she enjoys with the way she talks?
She goes out with a bit of vigor. Oh, look at that brown liquid treasure right there. Oh, yes. Can you hear that? I don't know if you can hear that or not. I could have got the microphone closer, but I didn't want to put it too close to the liquid.
No. You know
couldn't hear
earlier
a
when I
damn
said
thing.
that Scott's like horny this session. Like I've never seen him look
What?
so horny. That face, like he's pouring coffee, is like, oh yeah.
I
was gonna say,
sleep so
hope
little.
you Screen capped it.
That's your own fault, Scott.
I sleep
as,
so little. Coffee is my heaven.
as Britt and I tell you regularly, sleep more.
Britt says sleep more, and then she says, "Hey, wake up early. I have some stuff for us to get done."
Go to bed earlier then.
I stream.
You sleep?
You sleep.
Anyways, go ahead.
Have there been any rumors about the dig, the breach? Like, other than people going and escaping, have there been any other people going missing? Anything strange like that?
Nothing strange. No, there was the incident that I heard you lot took care of, and then there was the a few that occasionally run away.
Fair enough. Well, hopefully those ones won't bother you anymore. They're not exactly friendly, he says, like tapping a bandage that's still clearly across his chest.
Shrugs and says, "Welcome to the gate."
Fingers crossed. You'll be saying goodbye from the gate shortly.
Indeed, I hope to. They say, kind of like very introspectively, and it's kind of like the information you get from them. And so later on that day, when it gets to literally nightfall, it's one of those things. They're bringing out the torches, getting things set up, and whatnot. You see they brick this area so frigging quickly. They've actually almost done completely bricking off the spot that's going up to the top, to the lip, to make sure that, again, nothing ends up collapsing. Again, boards thrown against the bricked areas, like the spots that might be of a concern, with others kind of like, put an angle to hold it against there to make sure the mortar has a proper amount of time to dry and whatnot. And you can see that the almost looks like cranes, like rudimentary cranes that are designed overhead, had a bunch of ropes brought down, and it seems like a massive tree was cut down. It was cut down, and they're whittling it into a sharp pike, and it looks as though what their intention is to roll the tree down below, hoist it onto the two cranes, get it up, and use it as kind of like a
Oh shit! Yeah.
to smash into that area that's right there. Seems like
So
that's
is this
there.
the next day?
So this is what you're noticing as you're like going in for the night, because you guys are able to. You
Oh.
don't have to be on night watch or anything like that. So you guys are able to go into the place, do your another long-term care in the infirmary overnight. And which means you heal double your level again, so 6 more health points. Jake's like, I finished healing forever ago. You guys need to get potions.
I'm basically full now. I'm 2 or full, so I'm good.
Yeah, I think
So how much healing do we get? Double
you get 6
hour?
more. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not too far off.
Oh, I needed that so badly.
Yep. And eventually, kind of like the next day when you all wake up and have like your, again, very vegetable heavy breakfast that you have. You get head out there very quickly, kind of here. I'll describe what you see, but just to get that out of the way to finish the little conversation. Of the 3 people that ran off, one of them returned, and they actually, from what you've heard, though you didn't see anybody brought into the medical ward, from what you've heard, they're missing one of their legs below the knee. So apparently, the swamp does what it does. So anyways,
I mean, they probably can't work now, so they're probably done for anyway.
I mean, they still have to pay their debt to society, right?
Mm.
Oh, sorry. Was this one of the? I missed what happened to this person. Is this one of the people who ran away and
Correct.
came back?
Correct. The other 2 did not come back, and they came back missing part of their leg. I'm sorry, that's a really good line. I don't get commercial potions.
I enjoyed that.
I'm a single local roast potion only. Like that is so good. Like, you have to understand, this literally is from a local roaster. Like, my coffee comes from like They go out. One of their employees
got him started on
goes off to the islands, hand selects the beans that then come back and they roast it in house, and we buy it directly from them. We watch the roaster with a giant ass book with
Neil
a keep
tried to
ledger.
warn you.
Scott. If we don't carry on, I will hand select your beans.
Damn it.
Right. Well, moving on.
Awesome. So anyways, the you go to so you go there. When you go outside, what you see is they have that entire thing completely set up. They have it set in such a way that, you know, it's not one of those, this isn't something that's easily kind of like moved back and forth. So a whole bunch of ropes that are there, and they actually have in Magadan they have a few horses, very, very few, and they have a bunch of men. So they have a total of 4 horses, and they have a bunch of men kind of grabbing the ropes that'll literally pull this thing all the way back and let it loose, or, you know, kind of goes forward, then rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It's not a quick process. It's meant to be very slow. You can see that the bricking is completely done up over the lip, and they have no design work of what it's going to look like over here yet, but you can imagine they'll get to that eventually. They've already started bricking, of course, back down the tunnels, going and actually walking along the canal area that will head back to where the kind of like turnaround pool currently is. You can see that all the way down, the 20-foot drop down is already dug more than half the way back, all the way except for like the last, say, 10 feet or so of dirt has already been dug back 2/3 of the way. So half the way, all the way down. The other half of the way, minus the last like 10 feet of dirt, has been brought 2/3 of the way down. So they're really plugging along on this. And because they've got this pretty much situated here, you see a lot of the workers that were in this area before are not here, and you heard a lot more commotion coming from the other side of the massive keep or whatever that you're at. So you can imagine a lot of the diggers, it's not like, oh, job is done, I get to rest now. No, get to the other side and start over there, which is miserable. So they're round the clock working, tons of workers constantly going. So it's not like they're getting it done quickly. You know, the feats of accomplishment you can make when human life means nothing. So I say that in a condemning way, to be clear, in a condemning way.
For the people who
There's
are
too
new,
gleeful.
we're at a jail.
Yeah,
We're at a
it's too
jail.
This is bad. This is very bad. We're gonna say that it is technically a prison, but it is so much worse than that.
It's
Okay.
a lot
It's a
worse than a
gulag.
prison, yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
a
a
gulag.
gulag.
Yeah.
And mind you, it's not a gulag for just anybody. It's a gulag for people that are like, we're talking high crimes. Like these are people
Like-
that like,
Getting a barn of civilians, trapping them in there, and setting it on fire.
yeah, absolutely. Or staging some sort of insurrection inside one of the capital cities and actually successfully overthrowing the government temporarily, even if you're ousted later on. Things like that, you know, these are, or like the highest generals or important politicians of opposing nations and stuff like that. So, you know, bad stuff. Anyways, it's a fun camp. Jesus, I don't know. So, not good considering where you live. Not good. So back to the game. You go to the place. You kind of like see the way it's situated, and that they're doing a lot more of the bricking. Kind of raises the question: where do all these bricks come from? Like, this is a lot of bricking here.
That
But
is a good point, yeah.
so you
Maybe it's part of the supplies we delivered.
it could very well be. So by the way, you've you kind of see that they're getting everything situated. I imagine you make your way over to the warden. The LT and the warden are both here, kind of overseeing this. You can imagine somebody else is overseeing the other side as of this point in time, while they're over here. And the warden, when you guys kind of approach him again, looks to you and says, "Are you excited? This is the day we're going to breach and finally find out what is on the inside."
It is an exciting time.
So, after like another 2 hours or so, they draw back the large battering ram, sharpened battering ram that they have there. Bits of metal and whatnot kind of attached to the front to give it additional.
Tris will lean
Right.
into Viggo and say, "Good thing the ropes are really secure, huh?"
I was not going to say anything, but
He clearly says that with his voice lowered to not get bollocked by someone who's much higher ranked than him.
That's funny. So, anyways, I'm
That's
checking
it.
is
Galen
this a
has a
thing?
grin.
It swings forward and it smashes into the wall. The wall itself, one more detail, sorry. You can also see that one of the things that they did is they actually had some of their masons up on ladders and they intentionally chiseled out areas in the wall itself. So it's like a big kind of like circular area that they have set there where they've intentionally done like, domed at the top of the bottom. They just kind of like flared it out where they start chiseling into the wall itself, trying to remove some of the bricking and whatnot that's there, almost trying to like set a, what's the word? Almost like perforating where it is that they're going to be blasting through to try to control the amount of blast area that's going to happen there. Obviously, they'll have to break down more later on and then re-brick it in afterwards for style. But anyways, so you get the thing pulled back, they release it, and finally it goes flying forward. This huge, massive log, battering ram, reinforced by the middle and the tip, smashes into the thing. And you can hear the crunching noise. It is such a loud clap and noise. I want the three of you to go ahead and roll me a knowledge nature check.
Yeah, I'm actually, I might have to roll an animal handling to stop Carrick from bolting.
Sure.
Because
Can I make Virgil roll it?
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not trained in knowledge nature, so I'm not going to.
And this is with an extra +1 because of level. Ooh.
Viggo.
I thought that was my roll. Also.
Viggo got that.
Yeah,
So
I saw the 16 and thought that was my roll. I was like, oh, yay. And then I saw my actual roll. I was like, ah.
Pathfinder, where level 3 characters laugh at 30s. So anyways, you go ahead and looking at the kind of hearing that loud smash, you realize that's going to be heard pretty far, pretty wide. It could potentially be an invitation of trouble from elsewhere. I don't know how your character handles that there, Jake.
We're near the warden, presumably.
Yep.
He would turn, he'd say, Warden, that noise will be heard far. We should also be prepared for things to come and investigate.
He nods. He says, then be my eyes and ears.
Yes, sir. He'll look at Galen and Tristan and he'll say, the noise could have alerted other things in the area to want to come and investigate. Be on the lookout.
Will do. Is there anywhere where I can well, actually, given the nature of the swamp and the tree cover, elevation probably isn't actually going to be helpful for spotting things, is it?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so never mind that. I'll just try and find a place where I can see reasonably well into the swamps and as far as possible, and I'll keep an eye out.
You guys walk around the area.
Load a crossbow as well, by the way.
You guys walk around the area and kind of try to do some border guard and whatnot, making sure that everything here is going to be safe for everybody involved. You can go ahead and roll perception checks if you'd like. That includes Tristan as well, of course.
Can I roll for Carrick as well?
Yeah, that's fine.
Can you just? I don't mind if you would rather just have a single roll and include his scent skill in it. Like
separate.
Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We rolled the same.
So you guys looking about and whatnot that you have there, even though Galen has a 23, he doesn't notice anything particularly standing out. You know what I mean? There's no dangers that seem to be about, at least in the immediate area for the few. Again, this isn't one crash. This is going to end up being like a good 3-4 crashes, which takes a few hours to pull off. And nothing seems to be attracted to the area until finally, like when you guys are a good distance away, like not too far, maybe only as far as the stream, which is again, like what did I say? It was originally like a 200-meter area, so nothing like super crazy. You hear like loud shouts and cheers and whatnot as the wall finally kind of collapses down. I imagine you would make your way back over to there to see, what's going on, what's happening. And when you go look over and then kind of like make your way down into the area, you can actually see for the first time the warden who's having a conversation with the lieutenant has a bit of a smile on their face, which is, oh, how cute. Anyways, when you look down below, you can see that the wall has in fact kind of collapsed inwards. Collapsed in, collapsed around the thing and whatnot. And the giant spike, the giant battering ram is still kind of like lodged into the wall itself. So they still have to try to pull it free. So as you come over here and see this, they see it's kind of pulled free. So the warden, of course, looks very happy. And as he sees the three of you approaching, he actually looks over to the three of you and says, "Do you see that? We have succeeded. We have breached the wall. And it looks as though the structure's intact, at least as of right now. We haven't taken down the gate while we're at it."
Congratulations, Warden.
He nods and says, "Now it's just a matter of making sure that things are maintained well enough. A few are going down there to investigate, to guarantee the structural integrity and to make sure everything's good before we pull this out. You're welcome to go check it out yourself, but you need not if you care to stay up here."
We're going to keep a lookout, make sure nothing sneaks up on us while we're ill-prepared. However, if the structure is sound and investigated, I may come down and see if I can offer any insight, as it is Avalonian and I have limited knowledge.
Nods. You guys don't go down to...
Once again, I address the other two. Eyes, keep an eye out. We're still watching for any movement.
A lot of noise.
Yeah.
You guys, nobody goes down there to investigate with anybody else, so they go down there. A good number go
Not
down.
the first wave. We're like letting them go down while we make sure nothing comes because of the last crack. After give it a bit of time, then if there's still nothing, we might go down. I think is the gist of things.
One thing I will say to the warden, though, is there could also be weapons inside. Make sure the workers aren't the first in.
Oh, yeah. No, that's that. I mean, you'd have a worker maybe with like a torch or something like that, but yeah, you'd have to have.
Yeah.
That was you're all those warnings that you gave are legitimately heeded by the warden. He's no fool.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyways, you there's been about an hour down there investigating it, making sure that everything seems like it's going to hold up well, and they kind of give the thumbs up, and people start climbing up the ladders to come out and make sure that this is going to be. They can start kind of grabbing and pulling the giant thing back out. So it's at this point in time where I imagine your characters are literally sitting there and watching, seeing as this thing kind of pulls back out. So they grab the thing, and they start pulling and heaving and heaving. And eventually they're able to kind of pull the battering ram out of the wall, causing a bit more of a collapse and everything, but also unplugging the wall, meaning that while it was blasted into, almost like kind of breaking something and corking it at the same time. This is the first time it's actually been truly exposed to the outside. And one of the things that you notice as you look down and see that happening as you kind of like broke into it is that there is a as it kind of gets pulled free, so it's now hanging backwards. There's actually looks like there's a liquid inside that comes almost oozing out of the place. So it's not like there's like the whole place seems to be full of it, but there was a degree of liquid that was inside there that kind of comes running out of it. And it does fill up not the whole canal by any stretch, but the immediate basin area, the area where kind of like the canal widens up to meet the wall. It does fill up like a thin layer down there, something that would be maybe a couple inches deep, nothing a few centimeters deep, nothing that's incredibly crazy. You know what I mean? Something that maybe cover up the side of your boot, but certainly not even covering over your toes because the volume of it and how it's spread out on the plane. So you see this liquid comes out. As it's oozing out, you guys can make a perception check for me really quickly.
I will make a perception check, but I'll note that I never saw the goop. So that's just for the sake of
that's
if
fine.
you want add or minus stuff, depending on that.
Ooh.
So Gallon, you're the one that notices that the goop down there, it has like a slight greenish tinge to it. Because now there's enough volume together that you can see it. It has a slight greenish tinge to it, but you can see almost like a yellowish greenish tinge to it that as it's kind of like gooping up. But once again, as it kind of like lies flat, you can't really notice that because the darkness of the ground beneath it and it's too translucent when it's that thin that you don't notice. And it does ooze out, but it takes like maybe a good 3 minutes or so before it finishes at least the level where you broke into it. that it finishes oozing out. If you broke away more stone beneath it, maybe more would goop out as well.
Interesting. Unfortunately, I don't think Alan would say anything about that. He'd just be watching it, curious about what the buildings don't normally bleed. So,
Interesting phrasing.
yeah. Unfortunately, I as much as Virgil probably told him, that's a detail that I imagine Virgil wouldn't have bothered, like making sure he very much knew that they got this little goop out of the middle of these things. So,
So you you guys witness this happening, and the warden, of course, waiting till everything kind of situates. That's strange, but he looks to you and will say, "Anything Avalonian about that?" And again, it's meant to be sarcastic, almost like a joke. The first time you heard anything like that from the warden, who seems to be gleeful.
Yeah.
Muted, but gleeful.
Yeah. He'll do a little chuckle and he'll say, "I don't believe so, sir." Well, I'll start drafting out final reports for you, as well as to report your success upon my return.
He nods, and says, "You said that you were interested in being a part of the second wave of investigation. I'm getting together a team. We'll be heading down there in the next hour or so. This has gone on for a considerable amount of time. We don't have a long while before sun will start to set on this day. Do you want to be a part of the wave that goes down there and sees what's immediately to offer?"
He will say, "I'm afraid these reports that require my immediate attention. I am no historian. I know limited amounts. The warden, if you want to roll a sense motive, he is like Viggo is, you know what I mean, trying to sound, like the reports are really why he doesn't want to go down there.
But genuinely intimidated?
Yeah.
The emotion minus intimidation. Go ahead and roll me a bluff, because you're technically trying to hide your emotions.
This is going to be interesting. I'm really worried that Goop's going to come alive.
He looks at you and says, "Is everything all right?" And that was not a genuine concern. That was more of a explain yourself.
Just still dealing with near death, sir. It rattled me the other day. However, I find solace in work and doing the recording the best information that I can.
That was your first time being so close.
Yes, sir. I'm fresh out of school. My first command.
Well, allow me to be the one to inform you. You grow callous to it.
He nods.
He says, "And these two, I imagine they're going to follow alongside you, or do you want to send either of their expertise into investigating this?"
He'll look to the both of them and he'll say, "I don't believe they have any expertise in this matter."
Very well then. The dig has been successful. You fill out your reports. You may leave in the morning.
He'll salute and he'll say, "Before I leave, the report for the Scrags."
All of their reports, I would like to have a copy of them, and left for me. I will come by to
Yes,
collect
sir.
them in the morning from the medical ward.
Yep.
And you guys will be able to go back inside. When you're inside, one of the things that and I imagine you're gonna, well, do you want to have side chatter first before I explain what happens in a few hours?
Viggo will just inform them both. Our job's done. We'll be leaving in the morning. He'll say, "I don't imagine either of you want to check out what's down there." The warden did offer.
Not particularly. What was that strange greenish liquid that came out of the building? It didn't look like it was part of the swamp.
Viggo looks confused. He's like, "I don't know. This whole place is trying to kill everything
Well,
What if people start dying down there?
Should we? Is this something to inform the warden about? This greenish liquid.
It wasn't your report, wasn't it? That you encountered. Oh well, you
I
imagine
didn't
he's.
know about it.
You imagine he saw it too. Like there was conversation about that's a strange thing. Like he was also caught off guard by it. You know, when he said Avalonian in
Sure.
nature. You know, like that whole bit.
Yeah, they definitely
okay.
saw the guru, but they didn't think anything
that's
of it.
right. He'll just say, "Oh, I hope they don't." Regardless, it's once we head out in the morning, we have our job from. Was it a lieutenant tactician that sent us on this job?
Lieutenant Commander.
Lieutenant Commander, yeah. Litcom, yeah.
I'll say the LC has given us a mission and we've fulfilled it. Now all that's left is to go back and report our success.
I would advise to be ready overnight. If we're going
Of
in the
course.
morning, they're likely to be doing something, and who knows if there's something down there that's nocturnal.
Well, then one of us should be on watch, just close enough, but not too close. And we'll rotate.
Yeah, I can move fast. I can move even faster if needed. So I'll take the more.
Thinking about the creatures, if there's something down there that's nocturnal, I think probably the first watch at night is probably where I want to be, because that'd be when it would wake up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Most
I'll
active.
take first watch. If needed, I can make it back in pretty fast and efficiently, regardless of the water.
Okay, go.
Okay.
That's what it is.
So during first watch, instead of hearing just for like what happens, you actually get to witness it. During first watch, guess what? There was a lot of loud noises that attracted others. There's actually a bit of a situation that ends up happening that you all were able to avoid by not going down there. Remember those loud bangs and how it might attract the local fauna? Well, it does. It attracts a few scrags, and the scrags like by at most to travel alongside the water. So they travel alongside the water and pop up over in because everybody's attention's over on the canals and whatnot, and pop up over by where the little turnaround stream is that the river comes to, with the canals being built out towards. And they realize there's a small gap of space between where the that little area is and where the canal begins. The scrags think to themselves, with their limited intelligence, "Oh, this would be fun," and they literally start hacking and breaking away at the wall of the canal that they were building, which again at this point in time, because they built it back even more, is pretty much all the way to that canal spot. It's pretty much all the way down to the base. So you literally just go towards that end and start breaking away at the wall and allowing, because once the water breaches through, it's just going to flow, is going to break around everything around it. Yeah. So needless to say, the scrags go up there. Of course, alarms are sounded once they're noticed and they start attacking and stuff like that. And you can imagine that by the time Gowan hears the alarms and goes rushing over to see what goes on, he could also see the scrags literally up on the walls themselves, hacking away at it. And it's one of those things where you're like, oh no, the scrags are there hacking away at the wall. There's 3 scrags. How the hell can they even be stopped in time? And you also know, way down there's the brickers that are starting to brick along side of the canal that's coming up that it's getting here. The ladders are only so intermittent, you know what I mean? Because usually you go down a big ladder to get to the bottom, then use smaller ladders to go to where you need a brick, you know?
Would you say that all 3 of them are within a 20-foot radius?
I actually, I wasn't even thinking of that. I actually would.
Just so you know, if you remember, Viggo also went through with you about scrags and about how they heal in water.
Yes, I don't have anything fire, unfortunately. But yes, that's a good point. Taking note of the situation, are there any torches anywhere?
I mean, sure, there are torches for light and whatnot, but we're talking like, if you don't know what a scrag looks like, allow me to take a moment to explain. These creatures are about 10 feet tall. They have these long, gangly arms. The arms almost look like tree branches growing out of the side of an old knotted tree, right? They have these like a deep green, almost brownish color. That's kind of like that borderline between brown and green, like some poop can be. That happens to, kind of like knotted elbows and stuff like that, knotted knees. Their faces tend to be a lot more like sunken in, kind of like emaciated compared to a typical troll. Their noses are longer, have a bit more of a hook to them. Their teeth are not always as well kept, because they might not necessarily be as well fed as others. They have, so their teeth might be a bit more like yellowish, a couple of more broken teeth. Their skin is a bit more almost like waterlogged and leathery. Like they just look absolutely horrifying. If a regular troll looks horrifying because of its sheer force and might, these things look horrifying because of how poorly kept or how bad their physique might be, right? That doesn't change the fact that at the ends of each of their knotted tree-like arms, there are these hands where each individual finger is about as long as your base of your wrist to the tip of your middle finger. And those even end with these big, nasty-looking claws. These things look like, if they wanted to, like definitely one of them, definitely two of them could just grab you up and grab both sides of you and just kind of like draw and quarter you themselves, right?
Yeah, I feel like my tactic here is less to get in constant combat and more to just stop them from what they're currently doing exactly, to buy time. Because what they're currently doing exactly is going to cause disastrous consequences.
Disastrous for any of the workers that might be inside there, and of course, oh my god, trying to pace back what it is they've already done. So what's your plan then? Because obviously you can grab it, because they're not going to be immediately like, oh no, a torch, because more or less we have to understand trolls to the best of your ability. If you walk up to a troll and you stab it in the chest, like right in the heart, like it does like 20 points of damage out of the health pool, they're like, ow, dude, what the fuck? But to them, that is what's the word I'm looking for? 24 seconds away from not being a concern anymore, right? So like pain doesn't hurt them. They are as scared as fire as you are of a regular sword. So trolls certainly want to avoid things like that, but that doesn't mean they're going to be like and run away. You know what I mean? Because just like you don't do that when a sword comes out.
Honestly, I think
just how many of us have been in a scenario where someone draws a sword in an aggressive manner? Like they're like,
oh no.
I said good day, sir. Like
so yeah, I'm not wanting to engage in these combat with these things. I want to distract them and get them to
just got swords.
You would
like
imagine, Tesh, as well, that they have a plan for dealing with scrags. There'd be something.
All I'm trying to do is delay the scrag, stop them from breaking this right now.
Yeah.
Scott, did you hear that?
I had headphones off.
As Jake said, we're expecting that they have a plan to deal with scrags in some way, shape, or form.
A scrag tingency, if you will.
Yeah, but right now I need them to stop doing what they're doing because it'll cause a lot of issues. And honestly, my best way of doing that is to try and hit them with my limit breaker.
Yeah. Woo-hoo. I totally didn't make a macro for it yet, but I suck.
That's okay. So the one thing we haven't got pinned is how far away I can be when I use this.
I thought the range was 120.
No, it's 20. It's 20-foot area.
Oh, it's medium range. My apologies. It's medium range, which gives you like a good like hurl. So medium range is 130.
That's actually really cool for what it is as well.
Because you don't want close range, you might be in it.
Yeah. So this is my the first time I'm using this. So he sees the three scrags. He realizes, he puts two and two together. This is a really bad situation. And so this is something he hasn't tried before, but it's something that like he has been working on trying to do. So he pulls his arm back as if he's got a javelin.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. To utilize the limit breaker, you're supposed to be in the bloodied condition, meaning you're supposed to be at half
are we
health.
doing that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was an actual thing. I thought that was just a suggestion.
Oh no, that's what we were talking about forever ago originally. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I thought that. Yeah, I didn't know that was a confirmed thing.
Oh damn it.
Oh, so never mind then. No.
Yeah. Nope. That's right.
Did you put that somewhere?
Well,
Yeah, I don't think you ever like.
we're
I
still
only
we're
ever
still
saw it in
lacking
chat
we're still
once.
lacking. Let's shall we say several hard written rules on that, aren't we, Jake? So
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, when you said that, I was just like, I don't even remember that even being a thing.
I,
but-
Yeah,
I,
I
I don't
only- I
recall
literally
it, but I
only
like
ever
it.
remember
I like it. It
Someone
sounds good.
suggesting it in chat, and then that was it.
well, it
I'm
was
okay
also
with-
Tesh and I a
saying
while
that
ago
I
had
don't
because
know.
Tesh and I talk more about limit breakers than anybody else, and we went over that a while ago, which is
Oh,
why it's
I
most familiar to
forgot,
him.
My bad.
Oh, well, there you
That's
go.
okay. Then next thing I'm gonna try and do is if there's a torch nearby, can I just try and get like a rag on an arrow and light it and fire?
It's not very aerodynamic, but absolutely you can.
No, he's not firing the torch. He's using the torch to light the arrow.
I understand, Neil.
That's okay.
Boomers.
So let me
Causes
add
drag, not
things.
exactly solid airflow.
Oh, you know what I can
Fatality.
do as well, actually. I can noting that this is a.
Oh wow.
Do I have any negatives to? I have a longbow, composite longbow for this.
Mhm.
Do I have any negatives to this as far as like cover?
No.
It looks like it's like
You're gonna have half
doing the
range.
most
That's all.
work.
You're gonna have half range. Yeah, that's fine. But don't worry about the mechanics of this because this isn't meant to be a long, drawn out fight because your allies couldn't get out here for at least 50 rounds, anyways. You know what I mean?
I mean,
So
the composite longbow is a long range thing anyway, a fairly long range thing. So I wouldn't be doing it close.
you'd be at half range. So you take a -2 for each additional range increment. So your composite longbow is 110 feet. So if you wanted to do, say, from 110 feet away, just take a -2. That's all.
Okay. So
That's all.
-2
But
to
you don't
this.
have to worry about the attack rolls or anything like that. Like you said, you can imagine there's going to be a recourse or sorry, preparations at scrag contingency.
Well, the funny thing is, what I actually want to
Scrag
do.
trojancy.
This is going to be whether you allow this or not. With my psionic shot, I can channel my psionic focus into it to increase the damage.
You can.
Can I increase the fire damage instead of the piercing damage?
No, it's actually specifically the base damage. Yeah.
Piercing
Yeah.
damage. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Well, here we go then. So,
So again, you don't have to worry about rolling
You
or
don't
anything like
have
that.
to roll test.
Yeah.
oh, I don't have to roll.
So because
Oh,
this
then I would
is not
apply
one
the-
attack. This is you being a part of that. So the
Well,
whole
the
reason,
first one I would apply the psionic thing.
Of course.
Can I roll it or?
if you want to. Tesh is like, let me roll my dice. Go ahead, Tesh. You do your attack
just
roll.
wanna-
You do your whole thing.
I just want to. I want to see if the macro works. Honestly, is the
Yeah, go
biggest thing. So, so just want to check with the longbow first. It has the added stuff. Yes.
And you miss.
I just want to check the. Oh, and I wasted that. Yeah, that's. And then this is the psionic shot macro that I hope works.
I hate that it has to
Oh.
double roll the dice.
Yeah, why does it have to double roll? I don't.
So
don't even know why it does
because
that,
roll
yeah.
20 doesn't allow if and then because roll 20 unfortunately is kind of trash. But either way, if it just said if and then, it would work fine. But the way that the physical
All the
dice work
macros
don't allow
work,
for it.
all the stuff works, so I'm good with that. And yeah, so I would just be essentially lighting one after another and just lobbing them at them constantly from
You-
the as max range as I can be.
The worst part about it not allowing if and then is it does allow, if the number is 1 or 2, re-roll it. So you can literally roll like a 1 on like a great weapon fighter or whatever it is, attack roll in 5e, and then have it roll again, be a 10, and it works no problem. But it won't allow you to if and then for specifically the Pathfinder character sheet. So
Yeah.
if I trigger my critical threat, then roll this. Anyways, moving
what I
on.
will ask is how many arrows do I use because I have to consume them.
We'll worry about that afterwards because I don't know if you saw the time. So the
I didn't. My bad.
yeah, because I have work in an hour. So you're a part of the attack now. One of the reasons why I wanted to pose this is, what do? Do you try to attack the enemy to hold them back, or do you try to aid the others? Well, you go with the enemy attack and you try to be as effective as possible in stopping them. But these are 3 scrags. Their contingencies are only so strong. Usually the way the best way of defeating scrags is, of course, utilizing fire, but also sheer numbers. But scrags can kind of tear into people with relative ease, duck into the water where, how are you going to hurt them? Fire can't hurt them in the water. Acid is immediately diluted, and arrows have no effect underwater after, 3 feet? They more or less have no force behind them anymore anyways. So the scrags are pretty ballsy. are easily able to do a considerable amount of damage. So yeah, you're able to hurt them. Yeah, there's a little bit of fire that's there and whatnot, but that doesn't change the fact that the scrags do still eventually break down a bit of the wall. What I will say is that because of the fact that your character is there, you're actually able to thwart them from being able to break down the entire thing. And the people that are kind of caught off guard, because water does spill in, it actually does end up injuring and or killing a few of the others that happen to be inside the working area because of the wash of water that gets there. But because at least one of the PCs are here to kind of stave it off, it's at a point where they can actually still stop the flow of water. You know what I mean? It's not like it became this like chain effect that it all comes tumbling in. They're able to go on the far side and they're able to kind of like throw up planks of wood or whatever it is to kind of like brace it off and brace off the water that's over there to stop it, to then reinforce the side over here and make it so that this isn't a concern again. But there will be a degree of
Glad we
danger.
didn't have to fight that scrag on the way here now. These things aren't terrifying.
yeah, they genuinely are. You don't want to fight them, but that's okay. If all of you went, there would have been a fight. If none of you went, there would have been nothing. But instead, because partial, it depends on how many went. So you were able to kind of make it so that there was, of course, unfortunately, death and carnage, but significantly less than there would have been from the scrags immediately popping up and attacking the guards that are over in that area, as well as a few being kind of like washed away by the water itself. But with that being said, we're going to have to end this session and kind of allow me to get going to work. So, Tesh, who are you? How can we find you?
Hi, I'm Tesh of the Test Tube. You can find me under that name on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Follow me on Twitter for updates on all the things I'm doing. Follow me on Twitch on June 2nd. I'm going to be streaming Arc Genesis, the launch of Arc Genesis Part 2, which is the last part of Arc 1. And I'm really excited about that. So I'm going to be streaming that and probably a lot afterwards. Monster Hunter's getting updates soon, so hopefully I'll be streaming that. And yeah.
Cool. Awesome. And anybody else want to say anything before we go?
Come check Warmaker out. We're doing fun things, recruiting giants, subjugating clans,
What's
all
Warmaker?
that good stuff. Warmonger.
Warmonger Monday nights here, 9 p.m. EST on this channel, and don't forget tonight 9 p.m. EST on this channel. On Twitch.tv/Lost Initiative, my other channel. Neil, keep it sexy.